Welcome to Victory Online. We're going to join Loree Westron and Bob Bruce in the studio for the Portsmouth Authors Collective and their ongoing series offering help and guidance to authors.
And back with Portsmouth Authors Collective, myself and Loree. So let's talk about the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is editing.
Editing, yes.
And I'm sure there's a lot of you authors out there would be intrigued by this, but let's find out, and I certainly will be. And there are several types of editing, and maybe you can just explain a couple.
Okay, yeah. So I think the first type of editor that a person might want to approach once they've finished a book is a developmental editor. And that person will look at the overall story, and they'll look at the characters and the plot and the tension and how you weave those things together. And they will comment on whether or not the tension is lacking or the characters need more development. You know, if there are plot holes or questions that aren't answered. So they look at that big picture.
But in the true sense of the word editing, they don't do the editing for you. They give you the advice.
Oh, absolutely. I think all editors, they will just advise. They will just give you suggestions, because at the end of the day, it's the writer's story and it is their choice whether or not to take that advice.
That's interesting, yeah. And I guess there would be some writers that say, no, I really want that in there.
There are a lot of writers that do that. And I think in the early days, I can remember turning down an offer to publish something that I wrote because I didn't want to make the changes that they suggested. Yeah. And so I learned very quickly that, you know, I really need to respect their professional experience. They know what sells, they know what works well.
Yeah, and it is that word experience.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and then the structure editing, narrative arc, and the way the story is told.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's about 5 or 6 different types of editor. And the last two, the copy editor and the proofreader, are those that I think everyone needs. Not everyone needs a developmental editor, and particularly if they are experienced and have written books before. But I think everyone needs those last two, copy editor and proofreader, and they will help to make sure that everything is consistent, that you've got your facts right, that things are formatted correctly, and that, grammar, punctuation, all of that is in order.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't matter how many times a book is proofread, there will still be something that gets through the net.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, I've done professional editing myself, and so I consider myself to be quite good at editing.
Sure, yeah.
And, when I show my stuff to other people, I like to think that it's pretty well polished. But of course, I read it differently to what somebody who's not emotionally connected with it will read it. And I've recently sent my new book to a few people, and they have all picked up things. And as soon as they've, circled something, I've thought, how did I let that slip?
It's so easy. As you know, I run a design and print business outside of the radio station, and we proofread and proofread and proofread. Yep. And we think, right, we got it right, ready to send it over, send it back to the client. They accept it, goes to print. There's something wrong. It's not our problem at that point, because it has been sent to the client for proofreading, by the way. But so, okay. Are all of the above that we've talked about, are they all necessary?
I think they are to some extent. So a traditional publisher will go through all of those different layers of editing with their author. For indie authors who are self-publishing, then they may or may not do all of these. So as I say, the developmental side of things, they may skip that. And I think for somebody who has written several novels, that's probably okay, because they probably have a network of people who are reading their stuff as they go along anyway,
sure,
with workshopping and so forth. But yeah, I think everyone, particularly, indie authors who are doing it themselves, don't skip on the last two, the copy editing and the proofreading.
Sure. Do you think everybody needs an editor then?
Well, yes, in some respect, yeah, I do.
I mean, in the music business, we say everyone needs a producer. Even a producer who's a singer-songwriter needs a producer.
Yeah, definitely, because I think they are, as I say, they're not emotionally invested in the story, and so they will look at things with a different eye, and they will be more objective than the author can be.
Sure. Let's just touch on how can somebody get in touch with an editor, and what's it likely to cost?
There are lots of editors out there. What I would suggest is do not put out a call on your Facebook feed, because you will be inundated by lots of people who may or may not be qualified. I have used in the past editors from Reedsy. So Reedsy, that's Reedsy. Reedsy is a collection of professional freelance editors. And you can send them a few pages. They will have a look at it, tell you what they think your work needs, and give you an estimated cost. So, yes, down to the cost. It can cost a few hundred, or it can cost a few £1,000s, depending on how much is needed, how much work is needed, the length of time it takes the editor, and of course the type of editing as well. So proofreading, you're really looking at the fine print of things. That will cost a different amount to something that is kind of a more overall view of the work.
Sure. And strictly time is money. So depending on how long they spend.
Yes.
Okay, Loree, thank you so much for all that information. I'm sure it's invaluable to a lot of new writers. Loree, as always, everything has to come to an end, and we have done our time. We will see you again next week, and we can talk about something else that we'll keep a secret for the moment.
See you next week, Bob.
Take care.
Victory!
If you've enjoyed watching this podcast, then make sure you click that like button, and remember to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more of our podcasts. And don't forget, you can listen in where we're busy making radio like it used to be, on your DAB radio or online at victoryonline.co.uk. And you can also listen to us on your smart speaker. Just ask it to tune in to Victory Online. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.